Stay tuned and let's check out this Marvel Legends Chode Build-A-Figure Wave Astonishing X-Men Emma Frost. Pow and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember, you can now hit that join button. Become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we continue looking at the Marvel Legends Chode Build-A-Figure Wave. As in front of me, we have the Marvel Legends X-Men Emma Frost, or should I say the Astonishing X-Men Emma Frost. As we know, this is how she appeared during that run in the early 2000s. So let me once again shout out the superest producer, Rich M, aka Displayed Once. Go and follow him on Instagram as he sent this over for an early review, as he managed to find a couple of this wave a little bit earlier over in Spain. So hola to pixelattoy.com. I will put the link in the description. Go and check them out. I am going to check out Emma Frost today, as I'm very curious if I need this for my display. We shall see. But there we have the digital render on the front, X-Men logo at the bottom, and then we have an X up top, comic image of Emma Frost on the back, very shadowy though. On the back, another digital render, very lackluster of accessories, literally just a set of hands, but we do get a Chode Build-A-Figure piece. There we have Chode built in his entirety. You will need to get all of the figures in this wave to build Chode, and of course there we have a list of all the figures in this wave. Today we're looking at Emma Frost. So without further ado, let's get her open. Here we have Emma Frost out of the packaging with all of her accessories. I say very sarcastically, as she only comes with a set of interchangeable hands. She does come with a Build-A-Figure piece for the very controversial Chode Build-A-Figure. So you know what we do. Once we have all the figures in this wave, we will build and review Chode. Not today though, I'll put him to the side. Today let's focus on Astonishing X-Men Emma Frost. And just positives first, it is a pretty solid representation of Emma Frost, how she was looking during that era of the comics. Think Astonishing X-Men, like 2004, Josh Whedon started writing the X-Men, and she was sort of infiltrating the X-Men in a way, like she was a sort of sleeper cell, and she was like playing them against each other, playing their fears against them. The Hellfire Club were involved as well, and like, I think this looks pretty good. She has got the new Pinless legs, but she is on those bloody heels, so I'm scared to breathe in the vicinity. She may fall over at any minute. So let me move these accessories out of the way and sort of give a little side-by-side compared to some comic images. No character background for Emma Frost today. I know you know who she is, but I will give you some side-by-sides compared to some comic images during that era of the comics. So as I said, it was Astonishing X-Men 2004. The team was a little bit different. It was Wolverine, Cyclops, Beast, Kitty Pryde, and even Colossus got involved. But this is a pretty solid representation of Emma Frost in that team. I would have selfishly liked a diamond sort of variant, as she does have that diamond skin quite a lot during that time as well, and we haven't had that in figure form for a while. But looking at some side-by-sides, no doubts, this is a pretty good Astonishing Emma Frost. Zooming in to take a closer look at this Emma Frost head sculpt, and I think technically this is the first one we have gotten with the new digital face printing tech, and it makes such a difference. At least for me, it just looks a little bit more lifelike, a little bit more realism to it. I like the blue subtle lips, I like the blue eyeshadow, I like those piercing eyes as well, and I like how she looks a little bit frosty. Pun intended. I just like it, especially when you compare it to some previous Emma Frost Marvel Legends. There's just no comparison. This new one is probably the best Emma Frost head sculpt we have gotten, and that's saying something, because we've had some horrible ones in the past. I forgot about that one. But yeah, this new one, much better. She's got the blonde hair as well that goes all the way down the front, as you can see, and then she's got the white collar there as well. I do think the head is on a disc and hinge, but because of the hair sculpt, you're not going to be able to move that anyway. But yeah, just as I move this around, no doubts here that this is a really solid Emma Frost head sculpt. You can even see like the eyeliner and stuff. So yeah, as the light hits it, really nice here. Spin it round. Her hair is very yellow though. I do think there is a little bit of colour in there, like a little bit of lighter shades of yellow, but my lights are very bright, so if I move them back it may make a difference. But it is a very yellow blonde hair anyway. But it is new sculpt, dangling down the back here over the shoulders, and then it brings it down the front as well. But yeah, a very nice head sculpt for Emma Frost, undoubtedly probably the highlight of the figure. Looking at the rest of Emma, as I said, no doubts aesthetically it looks accurate to the version of Emma Frost it's meant to represent from the comic page to plastic. What people are going to find fault with is its functionality as an action figure, as it is very limiting thanks to this cape, and I will explain all. But before we do that, let's just take a closer look at what we got going on here. So the only bit of colour is the gold on her belt with a little bit of red to represent the Astonishing X-Men, of course. Then you've got the piping sculpted on the legs that go all the way down. I am happy to report they are the thicker, double-jointed, pinless legs, which are very nice. She has got the heels though, which if you're a female Marvel Legend fan, I'm sure these have been the culprits for many tumbles off a shelf or domino effect avalanches on a display. These are always quite awkward to stand and pose. She does have the peg holes in them though, if you are trying to get her on any stands or whatnot. So yeah, she has got the annoying heels, but they are the thicker pinless legs with the sculpted piping that goes all the way up. And then the belt, you've got the skin tone on the belly, and then you've got this sort of crop top which is attached to the actual cape. Now this is all done in the same white plastic, as you can see all the way around, as you can see on the back here. No detail on any paint or anything, it's just all white plastic, but as the light hits it, it does create some shadows, as you can see, but it is all just one color plastic. Now let's show you how this works, okay? So let me zoom in up top. So the cape is actually glued on the chest, and then it's pegged in on the back. So if I just move the head out the way, you can see the peg hole for the cape can come out the back there, right? And then above the corset, you've got that little hole, and that is where the cape plugs into, right? But even with that unpegged, if I bring it around to the front, you can see the cape is actually glued to her chest. So her arms are essentially stuck in this sort of traffic cone position. She has single jointed elbows, but she has all the regular shoulder articulation a Marvel Legend has, but you're not going to be able to lift her arms up because of the cone effect the cape gives you. So let me plug that back in there. As I said, that plugs into the back nice and tight, to be fair. So it looks seamless on the back. And as I said, this is how she looks in the comic. So it is a fault of the actual design. A soft good cape would have been the only way to eliminate this problem for Marvel Legends. But yeah, underneath here, you do have the single jointed elbows. Like, there you go. Single jointed elbows on both hands, on both arms, should I say. And yeah, just very limiting. That is probably all you're going to be able to get Emma Frost to do, is stick her arms out a little bit. Now, as I said, you could pop the head off, you could unclip it from the back and pull her arms out, but then why would you want her arms over the cape? It just wouldn't make sense. So that's all you're going to be able to do with your Emma Frost. There is a ball joint at the waist here, so there's no waist swivel. It's all at the bottom of this corset. There is a ball and pair something system under there, so that is where your swivel is, and there's a little bit of wiggle, but it's all here. So there's definitely some tilt there, as you can see. Tilt, definitely some back, arching back, a little bit forward. I'm talking a little bit forward. But yeah, the articulation is nicely hidden within the design, but also the design is very frustrating and limiting because of the half sort of cape, which is glued to the chest. So yeah, hands up, Emma, if you think you're a great figure. Hands up. In regards to accessories, she has a set of open palm hands we see a lot with female Marvel Legends. She also has a set of fisted hands as well, which I always appreciate for more neutral poses. So yeah, as I said, no double jointed elbows, and I understand why, because you wouldn't have been able to utilize them anyway. So this is one of those occasions where I don't mind them using the old single joints, but because the old single joints were always pinless anyway, it does make this a completely pinless Marvel Legend. And as I said, if you're not an articulation snob and you just want this as a figure on the shelf to represent this era of Emma Frost, then there's no doubts it looks very accurate, and it has a great head sculpt as well. But if you're one that wants to pose up this action figure in some dynamic poses and take some pictures, you will find it very frustrating. So it genuinely depends on your preference here for collecting, on whether you like this figure or not. Like, I don't take pictures, I'll just whack them on the shelf, so she's going to look good to me, but I can understand the community's frustrations with this one for sure. If anyone who cares about the articulation, I best sort of show it off a little bit. Her legs will go all the way up, and as I said, she has the double jointed pinless knees. She also has the swivel at the thigh as well, and the cape is like, it will move out the way a little bit, so you can like utilize the double knees and get her knees like up there. And if you get a flight stand, you could probably put the flight stand, tuck it up underneath and help her sort of fly a little bit. She's got the ankle pivot and rocker, and yeah, the legs will still go out pretty far as well. So yeah, it's pretty seamless. It's just the limited articulation, as I said. So there you go. Moving on to a very awkward Emma Frost comparison, as we have two Marvel Legends here that have difficulty standing on those bloody heels. So as you can see, both of these actually have stands and blue tack to make sure they're just standing for this review. So we've got the Walgreens exclusive version in all black, and then the more recent Hellfire Club box set version here as well, which has a little bit of a warped leg, annoyingly. So between the three of them, the Astonishing X-Men one stands up a little bit better, but it does require a little bit of balance and finesse still all the same. And she's also the shortest. Even without the stands, I do think the other two versions would still be taller than this new Emma Frost. So let me move them out of the way for a second and just bring in the tape measure so you can see for yourself. She stands at about 6¼ inches tall, which I'm absolutely fine with for an Emma Frost scale, especially as we start comparing her to some other Marvel Legends. Before we do that, anyone curious of head swaps, here we have the new Astonishing X-Men Emma Frost head on the Walgreens exclusive Emma Frost body in the all black. Now, the skin tones don't match at all, so it doesn't really work. This looks pretty interesting, and it works a little bit better. This is the Astonishing Emma Frost head on the Hellfire Club body, and because of the thickness of the cape, it actually pushes the hair out a little bit, so it looks a little bit flared and a little bit powered up, if you will. So, and the skin tones match a little bit better. So yeah, if you wanted your sort of White Queen with some longer hair, then there you go, there's an option. The head's on a dumbbell as well. Earlier I said disc and hinge. I was wrong. It's on a dumbbell. Now, unfortunately, I don't currently have any versions of the X-Men in their Astonishing X-Men uniforms. There is going to be a Cyclops in this very chode Build-A-Figure wave that I don't have in my hands yet. So instead, here we have a couple of my favourite versions of the X-Men in their Jim Lee uniforms with Cyclops and Wolverine, who were in the Astonishing X-Men. They're just in the wrong uniforms here. Here we have two that work a little bit better, but still not 100% accurate, as we have Kitty Pryde with Lockheed, and then of course Colossus as well, who was in a very similar outfit, so that guy could probably work. Kitty Pryde was in the team as well, but again, a different version of that X-Men uniform, but close enough for now. And then here we have Beast, who again was in the Astonishing X-Men, but his look was probably the most different, as he had more of a cat-like appearance and he was wearing those long shorts. So yeah, there is a Marvel Legend of that out there from the sort of dark days of Hasbro that I would appreciate an update of, to be honest, as I'm a Beast guy. But this is the best I can do for now. This is the retro-carded blue Beast without the lab coat compared to Astonishing Emma Frost. So you're gonna have to use your imagination, as that is the best I can do for now. It's the right members of Astonishing X-Men, just all in their wrong uniforms apart from Emma Frost. But at least we know Cyclops is on his way. Here we have Emma Frost compared to the 80 of Cap and the Mark 70 Iron Man, and I can switch him out and bring in the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man as well. And here we have Emma Frost compared to the only figure that I have reviewed so far from this chode Build-A-Figure wave with Chamber. And for everybody asking me, will the Johnny Storm pieces from the retro Ghost Rider work on this body? Then stay tuned. I'm going to do a YouTube short and an Instagram reel, so just follow my socials, I'll make it happen. Here we have Astonishing Emma Frost compared to Frogman, Tigra and White Rabbit. And then last but absolutely never least, here we have Captain Britain and Hellfire Hank. So, final thoughts on this Marvel Legends chode Build-A-Figure wave Astonishing X-Men Emma Frost. Now, there are undoubtedly pros and cons to this action figure that's going to be up to every single individual collector to make up your own mind whether this figure is for your collection or not. If you're into ACBA or like your figures to be able to be posed up in dynamic ways, then this figure will ultimately be very frustrating and limiting for you. Whether if you're a world builder and just want that plastic representation from what you see on the comic page, then this is undoubtedly a very accurate version of Astonishing X-Men Emma Frost in plastic. So again, pros and cons, you can love it or hate it. Always curious to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments. If we complete the team of Astonishing X-Men in like these new completely pinless Legends form, then I'd be very happy just having them stand there looking epic on the shelf. I would have selfishly liked though that diamond form version. I know we've had it in some form in the past, whether it be Marvel Legends or Diamond Select, but I would have liked to see modern Hasbro give that sort of diamond form Emma Frost a go. But that's just me. Let me know your thoughts, comments below, and as always, if you like Marvel Legends, then well, you're in the right place. Check out the videos tab, find the playlist, but most importantly, please hit that subscribe button, hit all on the notification bell, don't miss out on a video, and please hit that join button, become a channel member if you show some love, or join the members club. Much appreciated. I'm on Instagram at itsdanwho, and I'm on Twitter as well. Don't be shy, tweet me at Dan Who Reviews. And until then, people, my name is Dan W. And of course, I will see you on the next one.